tired. So, so apologies if this is more than usually rambling or disconnected, but I will try my best. My name is Alice Bell, and I am at BabyGotBell on Twitter. I am very tired because the place I work would literally not hold together without me, and that place is videogamer.com. It's a great website. Please read whatever it is. So this is my third. It is my third, right? Because there was some confusion last time as to whether it was my second or my third. But this is definitely the third one, right?
Fourth.
Don't. Okay, good. So this is the third of my residency, and this is a spooky one because it is Halloween. It's kind of slightly spooky, and very specifically spooky as well. It's about jump scares. Woo! So sorry if I step on anyone's toes. I also said I was going to ditch the black slides, which I am, especially because it's the spooky one. So I thought we'd offset that. So on we go. Huh?
I'm looking for the penis.
There is a penis in that one. This one actually. I've been so tired. I've got anyone in the room that has a penis. I hid one in your trousers. Ooh. There you go. What a surprise. I'm so sorry, everyone. So I've got a good plan to start with, though. Does anyone know what this is?
Bus.
Yeah, it's a bus. What else? What?
A Reaver.
No.
Is it the 321 for Luton?
No, shut up. It is. It's a Luton bus. No. It's okay. It's a very specific film thing. So a Luton bus is a very, very specific kind of, it's not really a trope, it's more a technique, and it's named from a film from 1942 called The Cat People, by a man called Val Luton, or directed by Val Luton. And in it, there's a scene where the protagonist there, she's walking down the street, she's very scared, because she can hear someone walking behind her, she can hear footsteps. She starts speeding up, she starts looking behind her, she stops at a lamppost, and then a loud bus pulls up, and you go, oh, Jesus! Oh, it's a bus. So, a Luton bus is a specific technique where tension is built only to be alleviated by something that is in fact harmless. It's also known as the bus effect, and there's a very specific trope called the cat scare, or the spring-loaded cat, which is often used in horror films, like Friday the 13th and Alien. It's called the spring-loaded cat because Roger Ebert noted that the cat often came flying at about waist height as if it had been thrown. Which actually in Friday the 13th Part 2 you can see the hand. But this is not the same as a jump scare. So a jump scare does not have to actually be something harmless that is frightening you. It can actually be something scary. It doesn't necessarily need the build-up of tension beforehand either. You can just go, oh, Jesus! And it's also heavily subject to the law of diminishing returns, whereby the more often you do something, the less effective it is. So it does need to be dealt with some subtlety, and as we all know, subtlety is not necessarily the regard of video games. There's one mild use of clown coming up. Okay. So this is the kind of evil clown from Until Dawn, which uses jump scares a lot. All over the place. It does kind of use the Luton bus as well. There's like the birds and shit. But it doesn't really... I mean, I like this game, but I don't think it really uses jump scares effectively because they happen so often that you just expect them everywhere. And so when they do happen, you're like, so it doesn't really have replay value. Jump scares, a game predicated mostly on jump scares, does not have replay value because you know it's going to happen again. Like if you come to play again, you know when they're going to happen. It does kind of have the illusion of replay value because if you want to save the cheerleader, or see in fact all the ways the cheerleader can die, then you can play it multiple times. But there's not really that much in it. And I really would like to reiterate that I still like this game because I like horror games, but I only like it once. So what I'm talking about now is atmosphere versus atmosphere versus jump scares. Kind of work much better. You need to build kind of an atmosphere around it to be scary in other ways. So at the moment, I'm doing at work, I'm doing a live Let's Play for our Patreon supporters, www.patreon.com/videogame, which is a horror game, and which does cultivate kind of an atmosphere. You're an intrepid reporter called Miles Upshur. For some reason, you've decided to explore an estate asylum at night on your own. With a camera, so it's got a green filter there because a lot of the time it's very, very dark, and so you have to use the night vision filter on your camera to see. And there's a bunch of mechanics in with that because you can't see very far with it, and because it runs the camera battery down. If the battery runs out, then you can't see anything. And there are a lot of jump scares in it. This is me there, and that's Colin Mahern, who I work with there, being scared by the bad man. So Outlast does something different because it does it moves the jump scares around. So these guys wander around, so you don't know precisely when the jump scare is coming up necessarily, because he'll be like the first time you play it, he might be wandering around one bit of the corridor, and then the next time you do it, he'll be on a separate bit. So that kind of helps to keep the atmosphere and the tension up. But it does still rely on kind of jump scares. And we discovered this week that it does basically devolve into the find 3 things and run away game, because that's the central mechanic. So again, when something hasn't happened for a while, we've started saying, the guy's coming in a bit, we're in a new bit, the guy's coming. Like, you kind of learn when it's going to happen, you learn the pacing of the game, you learn the musical cues which tell you when you have and have not been seen, so it gives you loads of clues like that. However, has anyone played Alien Isolation? Ooh, yeah, almost everyone. Isn't it horrible? So in Alien Isolation, you are trapped on a spaceship with an alien and other people, kind of a bit. It's nebulous. It really does a good job of kind of building this atmosphere and this horrible kind of feeling, because it shows you a lot of the spaceship when everything's fine, or at least some of it. And you're like, this is okay. And then everything goes wrong. And there's the alien. And the game uses lighting, it changes of lighting and shadow and the design to change how you feel about this space that you've already seen. And the design is always amazing, because so much of the stuff in there kind of looks a bit like the alien. So if you look at the seats here, like the shine and the kind of circular shape and the kind of horrible segmented pattern on it, or these chairs here, and there are pipes that look so much like the alien's head and shit. So you end up just being terrified of everything because you don't know where it is. Even if you look at this door, it's got kind of patterns down the side and all around it that kind of look a bit like the alien. So you're always kind of aware that it's there and you don't know where it is. Another one which I think is really good. Who knows what this is? Anyone? Yeah? There's another cute clue. There you go. Yeah, there you go. It strikes terror into the hearts of people that know what it is. So this is a game called Amnesia, subheading The Dark Descent, which is a game which uses light in a different way, in a really interesting way, because there's a sort of, I don't know, insanity mechanic, where if you are out of light or you don't have light, you kind of start to lose yourself, and you kind of go a bit your vision kind of goes blurry, and you lose sanity. But if you have light out, then the monsters can see you. So you have to do this whole thing of which is more important to me, and play around with it. And there's a really fucking horrible bit where there are flooded areas, and you can't see the monsters, but you can see them when they're moving. And you can jump on top of crates and stuff, but then you have to be like, I think it's over there, so I'm going to run over there, the other crate. So you have to, it's just horrible, and there's this whole kind of oppressive, horrible atmosphere, and you start losing yourself, and the game is about sort of going down and finding out what the fuck is going on, because you have no memory when you wake up and stuff. And it just has such interesting mechanics, and doesn't need to use jump scares necessarily to scare the pants off you. You just feel oppressed and never safe, and it's horrible, and I suggest you all play it. And finally, Amnesia was made by a company called Frictional Games, and they made a game last year, which is one of my favourite and most haunting and most frightening games I've ever played. Does anyone know? Soma, yeah. I hope to God that all of you really like Soma as well, because otherwise I sound like an idiot. But it's a beautiful game about kind of identity and so all those kind of, they build up all these primal fears that you kind of have, like you're sort of trapped underwater, and so there's this idea of being, you know, drowning and feeling trapped, and it sort of feels like the place you're in is kind of watching you. You can hear things moving, and you need to move quietly because there's this intelligence kind of following you, and the walls kind of look like they're bleeding a bit sometimes, but it's not. It's sort of this semi-mechanical, semi-organic thing, and there's a whole lot in there about kind of not knowing yourself and not knowing if you are what you thought you are, or maybe you're not, and then this whole idea of not knowing who you are, and all this horrible stuff. There are enemies you can't even look directly at. You can't even know what it is you're afraid of, because if you look at them, then they can get you. It's kind of a horrible image coming up. So it's kind of horrible, it's creepy, it's not horrible. I know, I'm sorry. So the kind of part of the plot of the game is that this AI is kind of basically that like humanity is trying to save itself in a kind of roundabout way, and the AI has done that classic AI thing of like, I must carry out my prime directive in the most efficient way possible, and you come across this woman, and she says, it won't let me die, nothing is allowed to die, and she's just there. And to progress, you have to kind of, I guess, kill her or to stop her being sustained, which is maybe better. And the most horrible kind of haunting part of the game for me is actually much earlier on than that, which is actually, I think, stayed with a lot of people who played this game. So these things are called mockingbirds, and they are advanced machines which have sort of accidentally been imprinted with the brain scan of a person. So in this game, you can, people can have their entire brains, their entire intelligence, their entire personality scanned and hosted digitally. And in this game, they've accidentally kind of got onto machines. And this machine thinks it's a person. This machine believes that he is Carl Semken. And who's to say that he isn't, because he has all the same memories, he has all the same, I think, therefore I am. He thinks that he's Carl and that he's been wounded, and he asks you for help. And you can try and convince him that he's not, and he doesn't believe you, because he doesn't see a robot arm, he sees a human hand. And to progress, you need to open a door. Now, the door is powered by this line that runs over where Carl has kind of been damaged. And you can find a way to bypass it, but that will kill him, that will power him down. But the easier thing to do, which is the first thing you can find to do, and doesn't require as much kind of fiddling around, is just flip a switch, which turns on the power line, which runs over Carl. And that hurts him. And it will drop him into a catatonic state, where all he can feel is pain forever and ever and ever, alone in the dark. And I know which one is more frightening to me when you compare that to the others.